Hello everyone, Myth here, and today I'm making a video for this new game. It's called Three Kingdom Epic War. Just letting you know, I'm just still playing Rise of Kingdoms. It's just waiting for the cross server PvP. So now there's not much thing to do. I looked around, I saw this new game, and myself, I'm a big Three Kingdoms fan. Okay, I love the stories, love the characters, and I was actually playing like another game you can see in my video. I was playing Three Kingdom Legend of Cao Cao last year. And I really loved that game. And this game I played it because the artwork is really fantastic. Like if you look at the artwork of the characters, I think they're pretty much the best artwork of Three Kingdom out there. On the market, okay? So I've been playing since yesterday. This game is very new. Okay, it's like a less than a month old game. Um, and so I've been like looking at every character's skills, and I've been discussing with people. So for new people, I think I do have some knowledge to show you guys what's my recommendation. So in today's video, I will talk about, I think, general how to select heroes to build a deck. There are so many heroes, I think 400 heroes in this game, right? So there are a lot of choices actually. That's another thing about this game I really like, is there are so many possibilities, combinations of heroes. So actually, if you look at my deck, I'm using Yang Liu Bei and these heroes here. I say like my deck here is really um screwed up deck because I'm running a mage with an active nuker, right? But I'm running mainly spearmen. I run three spearmen, and they all cost like four costs here, three costs here, just to set up their buffs. So it really delays my nuke. So I do not recommend you guys follow what I use. I'm going to replace Down with someone else very soon. It's just I use him. He's very good early game because you can get his pieces from the shop, right? And of course, he's very good late game as well. But for me, I'm not a big fan of mage in all the games I play, so I'm not going to spend too much resources on him. And for me, I'm personally going for with the Shu faction spearman. Um, so like if we look at the cards, say if you want to build a spearman party like me, um, of course, if we go gallery, Shu faction is like spearman faction, right? And if you look at our skills, um, say Liu Bei, he's got a increase all physical attack of all shoot units and plus blah 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 the buffs. And if you look at Guan Yu, also this is another buff, a very strong buff as well, especially for spearman and shoot unit. Okay, so they are the two most powerful spearman buffs in the game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Liu Bei from the 7-day gala very soon, and he will be alongside Guan Yu. But what you see is his skill cost is 4, right? And his skill cost is 4 too. That's very high cost. So that's what I'm saying. It's not efficient to run Down Wisdom because it takes a lot of time to set up properly with Spearman. Spearman is about survivability, okay? And it just doesn't sync well with with a bursty mage, in my opinion. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to run Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Jiang Wei as my 3 spearmen. Why I use him? Because there's so many choices, right? They're like this Zhao Yun, he's a spearman as well. Of course, he's hard to get, so I'll about him later. But there's also other spearmen like Guan Yu's son, Guan So, right? He's like a self attack buff spearman, It depends your playstyle. He's really good as well for kills, but I'm playing for survivability. So with Jiang Wei, his skill is very interesting because he share um where is it? All friendly shoe units share 60% of damage received, right? So he's he makes your team shares the damage amongst 5 person and heals everyone at the same time. So it's very good for survivability on top of their base buff. So I'm going with this 3 frontline and with my backline. You don't have to go with what I go, right? It's all in theory because I don't even have the card because the game is so new. But what I want is I want to run Ma Chao as like an assassin. He's not spearman. He's a cavalry. Okay. So that's a bit problem with the technique research, but you can see his cost 3 cost, and he charges into the enemy unit with the highest tactical attack, dealing damage plus knockback, and has a self attack buff after charging, right? So what I do is I'm gonna run Da Qiao. Where is she? So I'm going to run her. So her skill is a channeling skill, dance. So she's going to give my highest physical attack unit 50% plus attack and defense, 40% defense, right? And if you look at the base attack, Ma Chao actually has the highest base attack out of everyone in Shu. So you see 1163, like Zhao Yun's 1075, Zhang Fei's only 987, Guan Yu's 1081, right? So that means Da Qiao's buff is gonna go straight to Ma Chao, and so basically the sequence is gonna be Liu Bei, he's gonna buff, Da Qiao's gonna buff, so that's a 35% plus 50%, 85% plus the flat damage goes to Ma Chao, so and then he's gonna like charge into their backline, kill the mage. A lot of people are building Zhuge Liang, right? Because he's so famous and he's really, really strong. So, ideally, you want to assassinate the opponent mage with this card and just get it over with, right? Um, that's what I want to do. Another option is, of course, you have Zhao Yun because his skill is also target the person with the lowest physical attack. So most of the mages has lowest physical attack, right? And he deals heavy damage. I'm not sure what the scaling is like, but the cost is same as Ma Chao, right? And if the enemy is within your sweep range, then he does the knockback as stun. But most the time, the opponent is not gonna be within his sweep range because it's a mage. It's gonna be on the back line. So I'm just like ignoring the second part of this skill. But the problem is if you run Da Qiao, he targets the person with the highest she targets the person with the highest attack, right? So if you run Zhao Yun and if you have Guan Yu in your team, Zhao Yun is not gonna receive the buff. Okay, so if you want to run Zhao Yun in the future, you have to take Guan Yu out, but then you lose the best buff in the game for Spearman. Okay, so that's the thing you gotta take into consideration. And then of course is Huang Zone because what he does is he fires 3 arrows, deal physical damage to the person furthest distance to him. A lot of cases gonna be backline mage, but not necessarily it's gonna be the nuke mage. It might be a support mage, so it's not reliable. Okay, even though the cost is a bit low, it's just not reliable as Ma Chao and Zhao Yun. Ma Chao is more reliable because he actually blink to the opponent's direction and continue attack him after. So if Zhao Yun can't kill the opponent with a spear, then there's no follow-up damage, but with Ma Chao it's different, okay? So in my opinion, he's the best assassin in the game, okay? That's why I'm going with him, and that's pretty much my Spearman deck. And of course, if you look at the other factions like Wei, Shu, and Qing's faction, they have Spearman as well, right? And if you look at Guan Yu's buff, he adds physical defense if the opponent if your friendly is a Wei unit as well. So there's a lot of possibility. As I said, you don't have to follow what I'm doing. It's just an example, and that's basically Spearman. And there are decks that you can base around Mage. Say if you like Zhuge Liang, right? A very easy deck for you to build will be Zhuge Liang as your main Mage. Okay, then you are going to get Xiao Qiao. So different from her sister, her buff is for tactical damage unit, right? 60%. Okay. So you're gonna get Xiao Qiao as the buffer, and you're gonna get Zhuge Liang's real life wife, which is Huang Yueying, as the second buffer. So she adds another 110% to Zhuge Liang's nuke. Okay. The good thing about this setup is it's gonna be faster than the assassin setup, because this is only 3 cost and this is only 3 cost, so that's 6 cost. But if you run assassin setup, it's 4 cost plus 3 cost, right? So Zhuge Liang's gonna nuke first, and his nuke actually targets the enemy with highest physical attack. So in this case, he's gonna target Ma Chao. Okay. If you want to Ma Chao to move first, you have to take Liu Bei out, but you have to have another buffer. So what do you do in this case? What you do is, instead of Liu Bei, you would go with Hua Tuo, the healer. So there he is. So with his skill is a chanting skill every 6 seconds. If the friendly unit, he's gonna channel to the highest physical attack, right? And if it's HP over 70%, it's gonna increase physical attack by 30%. Okay, so and it's only a 2 cost skill. So if you run Hua Tuo instead of Liu Bei, your Ma Chao is gonna move first. But then Liu Bei has this really good buff. So it's like, yeah, you have to kind of be selective with it. So with Zhuge Liang's mage deck, you run him, Huang Yueying, Xiao Qiao, and you run a tank, right? The best single tank, I think, would be who would be Zhou Tai. Okay, so he is of Wu faction. This guy here. So you can see he's got a shield with him. His skill is only 3 cost. It taunts all the enemy cavalry unit and increase physical defense by 140%. That's such a high scaling. 140%. You see other what they add is like 50%, right? This is almost 3 times the buff for 10 seconds. But he almost has no attack, okay? He's basically a meat shield. So what you can do is you run him, right? And if opponent runs Ma Chao to assassinate your Zhuge Liang, right? You always save 3 moral costs. As soon as they start charging, you taunt them. Okay, that's what you're gonna do. And the 5th unit, you can be Hua Tuo to support, right? To give him a bit healing, or in late game. And if you have the money, you can go with Sun Jian. I know he grants buff to Wu unit only, and you're running like Shu mage, like it doesn't make sense, right? But he also gives Spearman another 40% physical defense, and Archer. Don't worry about the Archer. So give the Spearman 40% defense, and he's gonna make Zhou Tai a lot more tankier. Okay, so that's like an example of a bursty build with Zhuge Liang, and there's just so much combination out there, right? And then you have like Zhou Yu. His skill is like a chanting skill, so you can build like a chanting deck. So you probably can have Zhou Yu, you can have Xiao Qiao as the buffer. You have 1 tank up front. In this case, maybe you can get Zhang Fei. Okay, so with Zhang Fei, his skill is increased physical attack by 55% and physical defense by 65%, and for each one fewer friendly units near you, physical attack defense increased by additional 6%. Okay, so if he's from by himself, that's 24% extra, and like put them together, it's actually more than a buff compared to Zhou Tai. But he's less tanky, of course, but he does a lot more damage, and you can even put a Da Qiao there to support him. So, so you can run like Zhou Yu, Da Qiao, Xiao Qiao, Zhang Fei, and then you can run like Hua Tuo as a healer, right? That's a very interesting deck as well. There's, as I said, there's just so many possibilities, and I haven't even talked about Calvary Decks, right? Calvary Decks, you have two main buffers. Apart from like Cao Cao, you have Zhang Liao, which is here. So he buffs the physical attack of all cavalry, right? And the more cavalry you run, the more attack they get. And also, if you run cavalry with mage at the back, you can be looking at Ling Tong. So Ling Tong is here. So he buffs physical attack of all cavalry units and tactical attack of all archer units, right? So this is very good as well. There's just so many combinations, right? And you have those very interesting units such as, say, which one? Say this girl here, Bao Sanyang, that's her name. So look, her skill only costs 1, and what she does is she charges at the enemy with the highest physical attack and knock the target back, right? So like it's super interesting because like if someone's Ma Chao's charging at your backline mage, so she can charge to Ma Chao and knock him back, right? So there's like this gimmicky cards like this make the game interesting. And you have like card like Guanping, he's gonna send the nearest ally to charge towards the furthest enemy. So that's another way to send an attacker towards enemy mage, right? And he's got very good base stat as well. Okay, so like super interesting. And but here's what you want to do. You want to have one main nuker in each deck. Okay, you don't want more than one nukers. For example, if you have Zhao Yun with a nuke skill, then you wouldn't run like Wei Yan, okay, with another nuke skill, because then what's the point? Like you either have to use his active skill or you either have to use Zhao Yun's active skill. So the way to build a deck is you have to have a tank, you have to have a main nuker, you have to have a support with healer. Early game is important, late game I was told is not so important. So basically you have tank plus all different type of support to support that nuker, okay? If mage deck, it can be Zhuge Liang, it can be someone else. If it's physical nuker, it can be Ma Chao, it can be Zhao Yun, it can be like Xia Houdun, right? This card is so cool, right? He like summons Black Dragon. Like I never seen his card. It's so rare, but it's so cool. Like he's a cavalry too, so you can build him into a cavalry deck. And cavalry deck, they have this guy Zhang He here. He's a buffer, increase crit rate and crit damage. Okay, like there's just so many possibility out there. And I can't cover everything in one video. I'm not sure about my structure of this video. I just want to give you guys a general idea of my deck and what type of deck to build and how to build a proper deck, okay? You can't just stick random hero in there because they don't sync well. Like a low power deck can easily beat a high power deck if they sync together, okay? So that's like this video. And please join our Discord. I'll link the Discord server in the description box. It's a new Discord, and we only have like 20 people in it right now. It was only made yesterday, actually. So feel free to come and chill with us. And yeah, please give me some suggestions on like what type of stuff I should talk about if I continue make video of this game. Um, because this game is so new and a lot of people out there doesn't have any idea what to do. Um, so yeah, yesterday I spent like whole day just researching, reading, and I kind of have a decent idea. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment below, and will see you guys in my next video. Bye.